Today is Tuesday, May 20th, 2025, also known as the official release day of Daggerheart, the latest tabletop role-playing game from Darrington Press and Critical Role. A lot of people, myself included, have been very excited about playing this game. It's been in development for, I think, at least 3 years, if not more. They released open beta playtesting last year, I think in late spring, early summer, maybe fall. I can't remember. It's all a blur right now. But when they announced that they were taking pre-orders for the game, they offered two versions. They offered the core rulebook and the domain deck cards that comes with the game. And they also offered a limited edition version that you could pre-order that costs a little bit more but comes with a lot more and is only going to be printed once, and they're not going to print it again. And of course, I have the limited edition right here. So let's go ahead and check out and see what's in the limited edition of Daggerheart. All right, so here is the limited edition of Daggerheart. Just looking at the box, their art from Critical Role and Darrington Press has always been gorgeous. They do a great job of making sure that they have gorgeous art in other products, and they're known as a company for, one, hiring humans, but also making sure that their artist is fairly compensated for their work. And I think this really shows that. It's just gorgeous. I love the dichotomy between the purple and the orange here. That's supposed to represent fear and hope, one of the main mechanics in Daggerheart. If you're not familiar with that, that's a resource that you can accrue depending on how you roll your dice, the Duality dice to 2d12s. But yeah, the box, first of all, this is really heavy. I don't know if I was able to demonstrate that earlier, but like I was really surprised how heavy this is. I know there's stuff in here, quite a bit of stuff, but like this is something that you could probably deal 1d6 bludgeoning damage to somebody if you really wanted to. So physical damage. So here is the box. It is very gorgeous, and let's go ahead and open it up, and I will open it up this way so you can kind of see what's all in here. First thing you see are these character sheets for Daggerheart. And what's interesting is I know I've seen different versions where there are character sheets for different classes, and this looks like the first one, at least, is a generic version of Daggerheart. But then as we go through some of the other ones here, like Bard, these are obviously specific for that class as well, too. So this is really nice to have. They're also really good about making all these resources available on their website. I think it's going to be at daggerheart.com/downloads or something like that. So if you don't have this set and you want to have paper character sheets, you can definitely go to their website and download it from there as well too. But it's really nice that they have quite a bit of character sheets here. So this is really nice. Oh, then this is something I really like as well too that I've seen is the play guide. This is really good to hand out to your players to kind of get a just one sheet one-page reference sheet to know how to play the game and what are some major things that you need to be aware of mechanically. So that's a really cool guide that they included in here, and I like how they did this. The design of it is really simple to find, easy to locate, and easy to read. It also has a lot of the starting equipment and inventory sheets. The sidecar, this is something that people have been talking about with Daggerheart, is this thing called character sheet sidecar, where you can actually pull it out on either side of the character sheet, and it tells you each of these blocks what that block means or represents. So it gives you a little bit more detail about what your character sheet means. So this is really cool. I think that was a great idea that they came up with. I don't know if they were the first ones that came up with it, but they incorporated it into their into Daggerheart, and so I really think that was a smart move for them. Character creation sheet, so that way you know the steps to create your character. But yeah, and all of these are really, really great to have. So it's nice to have a lot of copies that comes in with the limited edition. Part of me is like, I don't know if I want to use these because I want to keep this in the limited edition. So I know a lot of people talk about they got the limited edition and the core set, so that way they just kind of keep this nice and neat and kind of, tucked away as something that they can treasure. And then they use the actual core box to play the game as well too. I don't know what I'm going to do just yet. It just kind of depends. I can see myself going either way. But let's go ahead and dig into this. There's a little ribbon that I'm going to pull up here that kind of helps pull up the... First, let's take a look at this. The DM screen, or the Game Master screen here. Very nice. It has the little Daggerheart symbol foil right there. Reflects the same kind of artwork that we saw on the box. Oh, look at that. That looks really cool. I really love. They really do a great job of kind of incorporating different kinds of elements of fantasy in their artwork, so that way it's not all the like one-minded or one-track focus of fantasy, but the different kinds that you can go in there, especially with the campaign frames that they've incorporated uh, into their core rulebook as well too. But this is really cool. So imagine playing Daggerheart and your DM screen is up and it looks like this. This is really cool. I'm really impressed by this. This is awesome. I love this. This is really great. So good work there. And then let's see what's on the inside here real quick. As a game master, I'm going to be running this game at my game store, and I think this would be really useful to have as somebody who is just learning the rules. I kind of have a general idea of it, but to run the game, I am still kind of learning some of those mechanics. So this would be really great to look at very quickly if I need to look up something here to kind of get a reminder. So we got all the quick reference things about the different kinds of things that people can do and what it means for advantage, disadvantage, the different conditions that's in here in Daggerheart, what you can do on a short rest, a long rest, the difficulty scale for the difficulty class you can have. This is pretty similar to D&D, so I don't think I would want to refer that quite a bit, but if this is your first, role-playing game that you're running, this would be really handy to have. A reminder about damage rolls, reaction rolls, action rolls, the things that you can do. Adjusting battle points. So this is if you're creating battle encounters and stuff like that. This kind of gives you a quick reminder of how to do this. I really like this because I will say this, when I was looking at the core rulebook and they were explaining this, it felt like a lot, even though it's like only a couple of pages. They just had a lot that was kind of going on to explain how to create an encounter. This is really helpful. So even if you don't have the DM screen, if you create some sort of like cheat sheet that has this is going to be really helpful to have. Improvised adversaries, hope and fear, spotlighting, and then GM moves, examples of GM moves, all those things here. This is really nice. I think there's one thing I probably would have liked to see a little bit more on here, and it's escaping me. I think it's probably just seeing more things about character traits. I know there's one thing that I remember thinking, I wish this was on the DM screen or the GM screen if they have it, and I don't think I see it on here. If I remember, I'll put it in the comments and all that, but by and large, this is great. Like, the design is very helpful. This is really easy to find the information that you need to, that you probably need to go, refer back to. GM moves, principles, best practices, stuff like that. Those are really helpful to have. I think this is going to be the biggest helpful thing right here is the battle guide and the adversary information. I think that is what's really going to be helpful for a lot of GMs for improv stuff as well too. I think one of the other things I would probably also love to see is this tells you, what they can spend the hope on and what you can spend the fear on. One of the things that I think people are going to struggle until they get more comfortable with this is the idea of what to come up with when you roll a success with hope, a success with fear, a failure with fear, a failure with hope. I think I would have loved to see something like that on here, just like as a quick look to remind myself, like, oh, what is this? Oh, no, you know what? I am wrong. It looks like they have something like that right here. So this is what I get for just kind of skimming through this real quick. But yeah, they have something like this, which is good a reference. I think I still want to see some sort of like examples, like something like this here where they had, this kind of extrapolated a little bit more. I think I would love to see the action rule results have, different kinds of ideas or examples that they have in the core rulebook as well too. That's my only critique. And honestly, that's very, very small compared to all the great things I'm seeing on here. Like, this is a very, very well-designed Game Master screen. Like I said, it's very easy to find what I need to find on here. It's things are going to be very helpful to refer to. The battle guide, I think, is going to be very, very helpful as well. But yeah, great UX design, great, layout and everything like that. I absolutely love this. I see a lot of people wanting to use this, and if they don't have the limited edition, I can see a lot of people asking to get the GM screen. If it's not this like design necessarily, I can see people wanting to get the GM screen that has this information as well too. So very, very great GM screen. I definitely commend Darrington Press on that. It looks great. So let's go ahead and open this up. But this is the core rule book, and I don't think there's anything in here inside that is going to be different than the regular core rule book, if I can just open up this plastic here. So bear with me as I'm trying to get through this part. Aha. Okay. And I will just throw that over there. Perfect. Awesome. Very nice. If you've seen the original one, it's definitely a different cover than this. And this, again, matches the artwork that we see with the GM screen and with the box that we have here. The artwork is very, very gorgeous. I wonder if we can find out who did the artwork on this here real quick. They're really good about listing this here. Where is it at? Artists, limited edition cover, Dominic Mayer. And then the core cover is Matt Wilma. You two have done a phenomenal job with this artwork in for the cover of the books. Every artist is listed here. The artwork is phenomenal. I went through the book already with the core rule book, and this is like all the artwork has been just really great to look through and enjoy. It's just been phenomenal. So, but yeah, so this is the core rule book. So it has all the things that you need to run the game. It has all the adversaries that you could use. It has like the environmental stat blocks. This is also the campaign frames that we have been that we've been hearing a lot about. This is something where it's not a full-on campaign or like a module like what you might have in other tabletop role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons or anything like that, but kind of gives you more like think about it as like an outline and foundation of if you want this kind of game, here's what you can use and like as a foundational premise, and then you just start, going off running. If you're somebody that you enjoy just kind of either improving or just creating a world on your own, this is going to be really great to have. I know there have been some discussions I've heard from people talking about they really like the modules because they may not be as creative coming up with things on their own. And so they like to have things kind of laid out a little bit more. I think the community and creators are going to make stuff that people can use. And so I don't think that's really going to be a problem. I think Darrington Press is really leaning into using the community for that. So, but the campaign frames are really good as a foundational piece of if you want this kind of campaign for Daggerheart, then use this. Age of Umbra is going to be that first mini-series that Critical Role is going to be streaming for Daggerheart on their channel as well, too. So if you're interested in that, you got the core rulebook, you can kind of go through this and see what to expect in that series by looking through that. But yeah, this is just amazing. The artwork is wonderful. This has ribbons that you can use, which I was creating a character with my kid, and we were using these ribbons to go back and forth between the character creation process, the class that they were choosing, and some of the other things that we had to look up as well, too. So these ribbons have already come in really handy for that. And so I really appreciate them including this in here because I think this will be really useful to refer back to as a player and as a GM. I think as a GM, you're probably wanting to have maybe a few more ribbons, but I think 2 is good as a starter for players, and then GMs can use that to, mark where they think they're going to be going to quite a bit, and then they can use their own bookmarks to select, different pages or sections that they know they're going to refer to. But yeah, this is just fantastic. One of the things that people have also pointed out here as well, too, that I like is that this is color-coded, so you can go through chapters pretty quickly. The first few times, you're probably not going to remember, which ones means what. But after you use this quite a bit, you'll probably know that, this third one here is for the GM, I believe. Yeah, GM principles. And then, the fourth one is going to be the adversary stat blocks and all that. Yeah, so even though it doesn't have it clearly marked on the outside, at least it's color-coded. And the more you use it, the more it's going to become rote memory for you. And there's only 1, 2, 3, 4. There's only 5, 6 color blocks. You can't really see it a whole lot there, but it is pretty thin. And it's right there. But there are 6 color blocks. You're probably going to remember it after using this a few times. So, again, stunning, gorgeous. I love the layout and all the work that they've done into this. Let's see here. Okay, so this is the box. There's a lot more underneath here. How do I pull this up? I'm afraid to break this now. I have a history of breaking things accidentally. And so now I'm wondering I mean, there's got to be more underneath this, right? Like I see this here. Ooh, ooh. Oh, okay. Hold on. So let me put this back in. Ooh, this is actually pretty cool if it's what I think it is. All right, so this is back in there. And then let's go ahead and put that in there in the character sheets. Okay. Now, let me go ahead and slide this off over here very quickly. And open this up here so that way you can kind of see on the side here, there's like another little box area right here that you can see, which I did not notice at first because this is the first time I'm opening it, so I'm not, I didn't even pay attention to like all the things here, but you can pull out this ribbon. Holy shit, look at this. This is clever. This is really cool. This is like, honestly, this is like a real life role-playing game, like treasure chest. Hey, you are looking in through a treasure chest and you find something that stuck out and you're able to find this like really cool magic item from this. Like, this is really neat. This is cool how they designed this box so it's not just everything sitting in here, but it's like a nice little real life treasure chest here with a secret compartment. I love it. All right, and then this is the box, all the cards that you need. So it has all the community cards, ancestry cards, class cards, domain cards that you would need for the game. Ooh, these have the gold foil on this. So the core book doesn't have the gold foil. So this is actually a nice little touch that they added to this here. I'm not going to go through and open these cards right now just because I think that'll take a lot of time. But this is really neat. Now, the only thing here that I know people have talked about, and I'm one of these people, is that I like to sleeve my cards. When you look at this, the cards are stacked up almost to the top of the part of the box here. So if you sleeve them, they're probably not going to fit in here unless you start like moving things out of this and like move and putting them here. But then again, this is going to be gone, right? So not bad or good or anything like that. It just is what it is. I know people like myself love sleeving cards, so it might be one of those things where this is one of the few things I don't sleeve, but regardless, these cards are gorgeous with the foil siding on here. I absolutely love this. The box in the core rulebook has like more of a hardened plastic casing to it. I don't know if you can see this very well, but this is like a velvet lining here. So limited edition. They pull out all the stops to make this feel like a really nice, high quality royalty kind of box set that you're getting here. And again, real life treasure set because you got a secret compartment that has more goodies. So I definitely, rolled with hope on that one. I was almost going to fail that if I had never found that little secret compartment, but that ribbon definitely helped. All right, so I think this is the dice. I'm going to save this for last because I did see pictures of the dice when people start getting their sets, and I have thoughts about this, but I also want to try this out here. So this is going to be the dice. I'm going to put this off to the side for right now and talk about that here in a little bit. But this has a bag of all these really cool goodies here, and I'll dump these out. I'll dump a few of these out because I think all these are going to be the same, but these are tokens that you can use in the game. Originally, when they talked about these tokens, a lot of discussion was centered around using these for action trackers. They got rid of action trackers for the official final release of the game, but you can still use these for fear. You can use this for, they have like an optional rule in the game that GMs can implement if they find that their tables are struggling a little bit with like taking turns in combat or trying to pull in more people to be more engaging or engage with the scenario. Is that during an encounter of some kind, and again, it could be combat, it could be a different kind of encounter, every character can have like 3 action tokens on their character sheet. And when they do a roll or make a move, then they remove one of those tokens. And once they remove 3, then they can't do anything else until everybody else have done their 3. And then everybody gets to reset and add those back onto their character sheet. So you can use that for that. You can use this for fear. You can use this for a lot of different things, props, stuff like that. But yeah, it's just a lot of really cool gems that they put in here that you can use for different kinds of tokens. Oops. Hopefully I didn't just break that. So I will get that later. I'm not going to have you all be subjected to me trying to find that. But I'm pretty sure that's all that's in there. I don't think there's anything else in here. I'm kind of just rummaging through Make sure I'm not, missing anything here. You know what? Better safe than sorry. Let's just go ahead and dump everything out here, because maybe you might want to see, hey, do all this fit in there without being in the bag? And it's got to be, right? Like, how does this fit in the bag? And then if you remove the bag, it doesn't fit. But yeah, these are all just nice little gems that you can use. Okay, so let's get to the dice part. I'm going to move all this stuff off to the side here so we can talk about the dice, because I'm really curious about this. If you don't know what's going on with the dice, they did something different with the limited edition dice that they gave in this box here with the D12s. I don't know all the technical terms for this, but the D12s that you typically see in role-playing games are, it's like, I don't even know how to pronounce it. It's like Dokakadon or whatever, but each side is like a pentagon, okay? When you look at these Duality dice, the main 2D12s that people would roll, let me see if I can get this out here. I think the bag is still, here we go, yeah. I'll go ahead and dump this out here so you can see this. It's still a little bit tight. Here we go, okay. All right, and everybody can see that here, and I'll make this a little bit closer. So let's go ahead and take a look. Here is the typical RPG dice. This is sharp edge dice, and I'm a big fan of sharp edge dice. They just feel really nice in your hand. And this is just really gorgeous. It has the purple and gold colors that you've been seeing in the limited edition color box set and everything. Nice size, really big. This is really gorgeous. I think I would use this in any sort of tabletop role-playing game. It has the nice little sparkles inside of it. I think people have said there's something in here that resembles something. I can't remember what exactly, but it is really gorgeous to look at inside here. So this is the gorgeous 7-piece RPG dice set that comes with this. And then what we have here are the 2 Duality dice. Now, when you look at this, this is not the typical D12s that you see, and this is where I had a lot of concerns with this. I wasn't wild about this when I first saw this for a couple of reasons. One, I don't think they announced that this was going to be kind of a major change in the dice that they're going to make. So I think this is a surprise for everybody. Some people are very particular about their dice. I feel like I'm not that particular, but I know there are people who are particular, and I feel like they probably would have been upset if they weren't told about this change and they don't like this sort of style of dice. You're not buying the limited edition set solely for the dice, so I don't think that's a game breaker at all whatsoever, or at least it shouldn't be. But that's one of the things I was really surprised that we didn't hear about this kind of different sided dice. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just haven't heard about it. Like, I'll be honest, I don't stay in the know with everything. I got other things going on in my life, and so maybe they did announce it and I just didn't, see it or pay attention to it and all that, right? The other thing is, I remember one of the things that got me onto Daggerheart is Spencer was talking to, I forget who it was, but I was talking to somebody at Gen Con 2 years ago about how they're using 2D12s as their main dice system for Duality dice. And one of the things that Spencer really sold me on is that he talked about how D12s were underutilized and underappreciated, and that when you hold 2 D12s in your hands, it has like a really nice feel to it. And I was like, oh, let me try that out. And that's exactly what I did. And I agreed with him. Like, he sold me on the idea that rolling 2 D12s would be a lot of fun. And so for it to go from still a D12 is a D12 dice set, but different kind of shape, I felt like, he sold me on this other idea about D12s. But you can see here that these are like diamond shape. Let me try to get a little bit closer for you here. Oh, sorry. But you can see that these are diamond shape D12s and not the typical D12s that you see in a regular one. If you want to kind of get an actual comparison here, let me get the D12 that comes with this. So this is the typical D12 for RPGs, and you can see that it's like pentagon shape here on each side. And these D12s that they have here are diamond shape. Now, I don't want to knock it until I try it. I know I was really concerned. I said I'm not a fan of it, but people have said that they really like the feel of it and they like the roll of it. So let's kind of do this a few times here. Okay. All right. So here's one of the things I'm noticing. I'm not hating it. I think it's definitely different. But two things I'm noticing off the bat right now, and you know what? Let's just do this for comparison, just to be fair here. So I'm rolling a d12. All right, so you can kind of see this. All right, so this kind of, you know, jumbles around too. But you can see when I roll this, it kind of, you know, jumbles a little bit before it settles there, right? Like it kind of rocks back and forth before it stops. Like that. All right. So that's what's doing here. But it seems like it's doing it a little bit, like it lingers a little bit more, probably because it's a different kind of dice set. The other thing that throws me off here is that when I'm looking at it, it just looks like it's leaning over. Like it's about to fall over, like the Leaning Tower of Pisa a little bit, right? So it is throwing me off. That said, I hate it less. I'm not going to say I love it, because I'll be honest, I don't love it, but I don't hate it. I think it is what it is. Besides that, I mean, this is gorgeous. Like the colors are very gorgeous. They stand out. You can, you know, clearly see the difference between the two, so you won't confuse either one with the Duality dice of Hope or Fear, whichever you decide to use. The logo on there is a nice touch for, you know, representing the 12. So I'll probably, I probably would use these. Probably. It still throws me off. I think it's going to take a while for me to get used to this, right? And one of the things that I do love, and I'll bring this here, is like I was at PAX East and Serious Dice was showing off and selling their Daggerheart dice that I got from PAX East here. And this is just the regular D12 Duality dice that they have here. So when you look at this, you know, these are just the regular D12s. That's different from the ones that come with the limited edition, but they're regular D12s, and they have different colors. They're more clear with like a purple and teal accent in this, and so you can roll those for your Duality dice. And then the other RPG dice are purple and teal to match that, but they're more filled in, and so you won't get these confused with the other ones because they're clear, but they have enough of a color distinction here to know that these are your Duality dice as well too. So I really like these. I gotta say, I think I'm loving these a little bit more, but I will say that because these are sharp edge resin dice, I do like that feel a little bit more than this, because this is a little bit more of a smooth feel. So these both have pros and cons with both of these here. So, but yeah, that's what I wanted to chat about, because I saw the dice, wasn't sure how I feel about it. And initially I was like, I'm not a fan of that. I like the, you know, traditional 2d12s, especially when Spencer sold me on the idea about, you know, rolling 2d12s and how they feel in your hand and all that. After rolling through these, I don't love it, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it as much as I saw it. I think it's, you know, it's still really cool. I think it feels, you know, fine in there. It just still throws me off a little bit. It looks like it's about to lean over because of the angle at it and all that, but they're very gorgeous. They're very nice. This is still well worth the price of getting the limited edition. So this is the limited edition Daggerheart box set. And this is just, everything that's in here is just top notch. Like I think this is, you know, going to be one of the best box sets that you're going to see around. Again, with the little, you know, compartment for the dice and the cards and stuff like that is a nice touch. It really feels like a fantasy treasure chest when you're opening this up. So I absolutely love this. This is great. So there you have it, the unboxing of the Daggerheart limited edition box set from Darrington Press. Absolutely love it. I think it's well worth the money. I love the design of all this, the art and the colors and everything. Gorgeous. This is so heavy. Like I can't get over how heavy this thing is, but I absolutely love the little design here with the hidden, you know, compartment here that makes it feel like an actual, you know, treasure chest. I know it's not that hidden because of the ribbon, but this is just a really cool design and layout. You know, box sets you don't see a lot at this quality. I think this is a very high quality, so definitely worth the investment here. So if you have this, let me know what you thought about this, and if you don't have this but you're watching this video, let me know what you thought was the coolest thing about this box set. So thanks for watching. I'll probably release some more videos about Daggerheart as well, since I'm going to be running them at my game store. I might be running them online through Start Playing Games as well on my own. So once I run through those, I'll have more of an idea of how I feel about what I think about Daggerheart, and I'll post a video about that. So until then, I'll see you guys around.